Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. I got a great show with you. Bad New Yorker Chavez back behind us. We'll recap some of this week's biggest games and what we talked about last week. And we'll go over this week's biggest games in Ohio State, Michigan, and the college game will be played. Buffalo, Philadelphia, that will be a big one and more. Let's go ahead and take our first and only break, and we'll get it out of the way, and we'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then. Happy Friday there, Carlos. Good to see you, man.
Happy Friday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Black Friday. Hope you guys got your good eating and your treats all bought up for Christmas, man.
Yeah, I'm always the same the day after Thanksgiving, still recovering, so bloated and overeating and stuff,
That sounds like the Jets playing football today.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that game?
Man, that was how can I say, a disgrace. Like, they took out a quarterback and replaced him with somebody who played exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you had another quarterback there that has experience. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't get some of these people how they do what they do, but again, I'm just a fan watching TV. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Do you think Saleh survives this season?
It's possible because he lost the major component of the possibility of making
Rodgers and everything.
Yeah, so they'll probably give him a pass.
Yeah.
Plus, the defense isn't bad, right? So the defense isn't.
They're out there competing. They didn't compete on that last touchdown run, which cost me the under. But for the most part, they compete. That long run by Mostert, I mean, it's like they just gave up,
Well, you can only do so much if your offense isn't scoring as well, right? So the offense wasn't taking any time of possession, wasn't allowing the defense to rest. So
that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. A little bit of surprise here. Denver, Detroit. My thing about them is
how's that a surprise?
They had the best record since 1962 coming into yesterday, and I think they're not used to people gunning for them.
No, I don't think that's.
And they look flat most of that game, man. What's your thoughts on that Green Bay game yesterday?
I think that the defense that Green Bay has allowed their offense to be in the game. Their offense stepped up and allowed their defense to rest, to keep being in the game. There was a really good balance on that side. Love is improving, has been improving the last 3 games. He's been
he has.
He's been showing up, and you got to give credit where credit's due because I'm not a big Love fan. I like the name. The name's great. Sells jerseys. But he got to do something, right? And I said earlier to Keith that on Are You Serious? Like, I wasn't sure about him coming out of Utah State, not UCLA. I made a mistake saying he was at UCLA, but because he didn't seem like it just seemed like he wanted to be in NFL, but didn't want to just like be a QB in the NFL, right? So, but he went to a right place that sat him and and allowed him to, I guess, grow as much as he could without being on the football field, right? So, but he's more mature now. He's not saying things, and he's playing, competing, and it looks, and everything that he's doing is positive.
Yeah.
And that's good because I didn't think he had that much potential and that much. Like I thought he was going to peak and probably be a backup.
Yeah.
And he's actually, doing okay there. And right now,
You think maybe he's earned another year with Green Bay?
Yeah, it's dangerous, right? He wins a couple more games and they're going to keep him, right? So,
well, Chargers, that was a big win there. Big road. That was a huge road win. Short week. I thought Detroit would get them, man. Detroit's slipping defensively, man.
Well, see, the thing with Detroit, and I asked you this, I was like, is it Goff? Would you sign Goff? Is that the kind of QB you need to get over the hump? And I don't not necessarily think that he's a bad player. He's an okay player. He's serviceable. And if you're Detroit, you're building up your team. You're trying to get depth. The one thing that you're lacking is a QB that's more than serviceable. You need a guy that's going to take you over the hump. That's going to, make that last throw. That's going to, run that extra yard. That's going to set you up to win a field goal. And this guy's throwing picks. He's dropping the ball. He's doing everything.
Yeah, that's a crucial turnover, though. I still believe in him. His numbers have been good. They just.
You can get good numbers. You can play games and have good numbers. We've seen this out of
they're still 8-3. It's not like they're going to win that division. I mean, they're up 3 or 4 games.
Well, Green Bay's coming up and doing what they're doing. They might slip too far, and they just got to lose one more game in the division, and that's it. So.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Listen, I said this. I think Detroit is okay. I think they're missing a few players. I think they lack a little bit of depth on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
And I think their quarterback's a problem. I think the reason they look good and the reason people are excited is because that division's weak, right? So, we'll see. And if they host a playoff game, they're not going to win. That's what I'm saying.
It depends on who they match up with.
Right? They can match up with the freaking Falcons if the Falcons win that division. The thing about the Detroit Lions is it's almost like the Buffalo Bills. It's like you're expecting something bad to happen, even if things are going good. And if something
they're not used to having teams get up for them, and they got to get. I mean, they best record since '60. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's better than any of the Barry Sanders years.
They had to come back against the Bears last week.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Their secondary is really getting hit. Emmanuel Mosley, they got to get him back. They got to get that Chauncey Gardner. Those guys were big free agent ads, and they just got hurt. They're not out there. And the rest of those cats, they're really young.
If I'm in Michigan, I'm not betting nothing on these Detroit Lions except for the fact that you're excited they're going to be in the playoffs. That's it. Don't bet your house. Don't bet a car.
Well, they are very young. The unit on the defensive side, their main player on defense is a second or third year player, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, but okay, again, they have a good team. The problem with this team is they have very little depth on both sides, on defense and offense, and they only have a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I like Goff. I think he's doing okay.
Like Goff. So if Goff says I'm not going back to Detroit, do you think Tennessee should pick him up?
No, they got a guy on a rookie contract. I mean, there's no way you do that,
Okay. So
you got to let Love. You got to let Levis figure it out.
You don't want Goff enough to be like, oh, let's get a veteran quarterback in here.
No, because Tennessee doesn't have that many players on rookie contracts on defense and offense.
Okay, let's say they didn't have it. Would you pick up Goff? Do you think the Giants?
If the situation was right, yeah, he's been in the Super Bowl, man.
Do you think the Jets and the Giants would pick up this cat if he was a free agent?
Well, the Jets should. They got a 40-year-old guy that's coming off Achilles, and then they got Zach Wilson. The Giants, it's all about the certain situation, the cap situation with the rest of your roster.
I put it like
it's like Geno Smith. What's your thoughts on Geno Smith? I think they're done with him after what I've seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay $20 million for Geno Smith a year, would you?
No, I think Geno was a one-hit wonder.
Do you think you would pay the same for Goff?
Goff has got a Super Bowl on his resume. Geno Smith was considered a total bust.
Goff was at the Super Bowl. In fact, he was drinking Gatorade at the Super Bowl, but he didn't win nothing.
Yeah, McVay was scared. And, of course, they got rid of him. They got Stafford. So,
And then
I ain't saying he's great, but
going back. So
he's
look at
serviceable guy, you know.
The Rams end up losing him, picking up another, trading for him, picking up a guy, went to the Super Bowl again and actually won.
Yeah.
So that means that the guy you had before wasn't up to par.
Yeah, Detroit, I thought they was going to draft a quarterback and use Goff as a bridge, but they never did. You know, I thought they was going to get Hendon Hooker, and they do got Hendon Hooker.
They have Hooker.
They may move off him for Hooker at some point. You know,
it's about that time for an extension.
Hooker's coming back from an ACL tear, though.
If I'm Detroit, I don't care how stat looks, because there's a lot of guys in this league that got nice stats. And they don't.
Only way he stays if he wins 2 playoff games. I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. Goff does, and it depends on Hooker's progress. It does. They'll probably lose their OC and at the end of the season. I think Ben Johnson will probably get one of these head coaching jobs. He might get the Buffalo job if he wants it. He might get the LA Charger job. I'm sure that's going to be available, don't you think?
Man, I just don't see him going all the way to LA. I see him maybe in a mid, like a smaller market team. You don't want to go from Detroit to a big market team. You'll get ate up. You want to.
They may go with more experience since they went with the young guy last time too. Yeah, so, the Chargers, if they fire Staley.
I'm just saying.
My guess is they will.
If I'm Tennessee, New York teams, or anyone else, I wouldn't pay Goff more than $20 million. And if anything, I might have him as a backup.
Well, that's what you got. Most of these quarterbacks are overpaid. That's what I've been saying for the whole time I've been doing this show.
A lot of them, not. I mean, it's
Burrow, Mahomes, maybe, but
Oh, you like putting Mahomes next to Burrow and Burrow next to Mahomes? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Matt Canada getting fired from Pittsburgh?
They should have moved on from him last season.
Yeah. So yeah, they were putting signs up in Alabama games about fire Matt Canada. Putting them out on game day. There's Pittsburgh fans everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he had one too many tries. He got a quarterback and a wide receiver that can actually do things. He got 2 running backs.
Yeah, Warren's pretty good. I've been telling people that guy's good. I like him better than Harris.
They're not scoring more than 27 points a game. So something's got to go. Something got to give, man. And they got a defense that helps to keep them in games. So, I just thought Tomlin should have done something sooner than later.
Yeah. Do you think Tomlin's in any trouble?
No, he's not. If anything, he'll decide whether he wants to stay or go. That's, I think, the situation there. And that's just the way the Pittsburgh Steelers are.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 coaches since 1969. I wouldn't count on them firing Tomlin. No. You can make the case to fire him. No win since 2016 in the playoffs. Very stagnant offense. Multiple offensive coordinators over the past few months. I talked about that on the day that Canada got fired. But you know how the Steelers are.
Yeah.
They almost make it impossible. You really, I mean, it's hard to get fired from the Steelers now.
Yeah, not only that. I mean, everybody knows that they hang their hat on defense.
Yeah.
And their defense wins or loses games. Everybody knows that. So the offense got to be kicking, and it's got to do things to help that defense. But it's more that Steelers defense, than it ever be about this. Even with Ben Roethlisberger and when they had Hines and they had the bus and stuff, they score points. But everybody knows that their defense is kept them in games. So
yeah, that's true. Okay, what about last week, man? What do you think about Minnesota, Denver? That's a great game, right? That was about what I thought it was going to be.
I'm gonna tell you,
2 hot teams.
I just felt like the fact that Dobbs was new to the team came out on this game. That inexperience with his wide receivers, the inexperience with him and his coach and the coaching staff and the offensive side. I think they try to progress too much too fast for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought too, actually.
Had they just kept it simple and had they just kept it okay, that Denver defense is young still, and they would have been able to stop Dobbs if they had not tried to change it up so much. But that's the thing about Peyton. Peyton prepares the teams in a way that other coaches don't. So, and I feel like the Viking staff, coaching staff were aware of that, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to play a smart coach. We're going to play a guy that's competitive." And I think they were trying to do a lot more than they should have, right? So,
yeah. They seemed like the better team most of that game. If you look for that turnover, like you said, with Dobbs, they seemed like they were moving the ball freely against Denver, man.
Yeah, but that defense in Denver is only getting better every game, and it's exciting for Denver fans because they had such a miserable season last year. So
and you know what, Minnesota, you made a good point earlier. Now that I think about it, Minnesota's got a bye week. That's huge to have one late in the season and you being competitive like they are. They could, and Dan Campbell's really got to pull all the rabbits out of the hat. If he's got any more rabbits up there in Detroit, he's got to keep them on their P's and Q's. I don't think they played Minnesota yet.
Now, did Montgomery get hurt, or he?
I'll have to go back and check. I didn't see he got hurt.
I didn't check the report this morning, but
yeah,
he got injured during the game.
Okay,
slightly injured, but I don't know if he's going to be.
It must have been in the second half. I was going to my sister's house for Thanksgiving. I noticed that he scored that touchdown in the second half.
Yeah,
and I thought they was going to come back and win when they cut it, but they just couldn't hold up on Green Bay. But Minnesota, yeah, you're right. I mean, they could very well win this division. That would be a well of a coaching job by O'Donnell up there. I like the way he works with Dobbs. Do you think he'll give Dobbs a shot to play next year?
Minnesota, would they sign him again?
Yeah.
I think he can. I think he has a better opportunity being on a team and doing something positive than Goff. How about that? How about that for a hot take?
Well, because he's got legs, and he's not going to come at the price of a Goff who's already got that better resume. I said it last year. Tennessee should have gave him a shot.
Tennessee should have signed him right away. Yeah. Seeing that he came in there and he just rolled up his sleeves and just got to work.
Yeah, on a really modest, $15 million with incentive type of contract. I think he would have fit in really well here in Tennessee. It's unfortunate. Yeah, Minnesota's going to be – they're going to be tough. I mean, Detroit should have took care of business, man. They got to get Emmanuel Mosley back for Detroit, their cornerback.
And I'll tell you this, Dobbs, Geno Smith, and Goff, if they're on the market, Dobbs will be taken up faster and will hold better value than both those guys.
He's younger. He's quick. And he's really smart at catching on to stuff. He's just never been in the right opportunity.
That's right. No, or how they gave him the opportunity when he was in Pittsburgh. He
came in under a Hall of Famer, and they don't really have a good offensive-minded head coach up there.
They had lost that O-line slowly.
Yeah.
Through age. That O-line aged out, which is one of the reasons Najee Harris doesn't look as good as he has.
Yeah.
Because that O-line's been getting –
Well, the left tackle's a rookie. For good news for Pittsburgh, they finally found a left tackle, Broderick Jones out of Georgia. But they've been aged out for years.
Yeah.
They're like a piece of a loaf of bread with mold on it. You got to get a new loaf of bread, man. What's your thoughts on Philly, Kansas City, man? I thought Kansas City had that, man.
I think
no scoring in the second half, huh? Again.
I think the biggest problem that Kansas City has. Remember, I said this when I was like, "This is a game that they're test, their wide receiving core."
Yeah,
and they didn't pass, right? Kelsey dropped the ball, I felt like there was 12 drops, almost 8 to 10 drops or something like that. It was a lot of drops.
Oh, Valdez Scandal. I mean, that should have been, if that's a guy like whatchamacallit that the Titans got, Fat Hopkins. We're talking about the Chiefs winning. Yeah. He don't drop that ball.
They had every opportunity to win that game, and for once I was actually thinking to myself, just run the damn ball, man. Kansas City, just run the ball. You don't got to make a home run play every single time. Pacheco
It's
was
like they got away from it, didn't they?
Pacheco was doing well in the first half. Like, you know, just run the damn ball. And they went in, try to make big plays with Kelsey and try to make big plays with Scanlon. And, like, you know, sometimes you just got to protect the ball and just, you know, and Pacheco's not a bad option, man. Sometimes he'll break for one, you know. So I don't know.
Tendency to get away from the running game, you know.
I just think kudos to the Eagles, man, because
they make good second half adjustments.
Yeah.
And I predicted this in the offseason. I said the Chiefs won't go back because what they did with the offense, they went cheap on their tackles, and I told you that Kel's 34 years old. He got injured week 1. He's been stumbling around here. He's not the guy he was 4 or 5 years ago. You can't put all that faith in a tight end. They'll probably upgrade the receivers, but they need to tighten those 2 tackles up. That's my prediction. I think that's. But other than that, they're really good on defense. They're probably going to get another ring out of this. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year.
He missed the ball too in the most unopportune time. He missed that third down conversion.
Who did?
Kelsey.
Yeah. He's not as quick as he was, man.
Well, he should have caught that ball if anything. And
yeah.
I mean, it was tough because I think even the Eagles are like surprised that they came out of that game winning, and you know,
down by 10 at halftime on the road.
Credit where credit's due, right? You take the turnovers, you take the drops, and then you go ahead and pick up the pieces, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had 6 drops in the game. It felt like they had 8 to 10. That's how bad it was. Because every time they turned around, Pickles, and they were trying to win the game and just carry the time of possession, they went ahead and couldn't get past the third down conversion.
I think Andy Reid's protecting those tackles, especially that right tackle, especially that guy.
Look, I mean, there's only so much you can do. You don't have somebody you can depend on as a wide receiver. It's not good.
Yeah, those young guys are not. I like this Rashid Rice. I mean, Mahomes is going to have to do Brady thing and just go out with these guys during the summertime next year and really get in some serious work. And they'll probably have to get a veteran that they can trust in the offseason as well. Maybe Tennessee trades him Hopkins since he's got a 2-year deal.
I mean,
give me a second-round pick. I'll send
Hopkins ain't going nowhere with that. With their money, the money ain't right. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. It is they've 3 second half games in a row they haven't scored any points.
Right. So they scored less than even 14 points in the last 4 games in the second half.
Yes. They're right up there with Cleveland, believe it or not.
Yeah,
you know. But so that was an interesting game. We talked about Pitt and Cleveland, the Fire-Ins, Washington, Oregon. Your guy at Oregon State or Washington, my bad. They come up with a big win. Is this thing Michael Penix's? Is it his Heisman to lose, man? At this point, big throws in that Oregon State game to win it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, man, and it is like it's always gonna be. They got so much bias against the Pac-12. This is the best year for the Pac-12 by far. It's gonna now fall apart.
Yeah.
But he ain't gonna win nothing because people are looking at the SEC and the Big 10, Big 12, whatever, the Big 10, because they, you're gonna see Ohio State versus Michigan, and you're gonna see whoever wins that in the competition for the.
And McCartney has 5 touchdowns tomorrow against Ohio State. Maybe he jumps everybody.
Who?
McCartney.
Yeah, that's what I was going at. McCartney just.
Yeah, and then we still got the championship games. What if that Monroe from Alabama has a crazy game against Georgia next week? Next week, not this week.
You think they'll give him a Heisman for that?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
No.
He'll get in the race.
I feel like for me and the way I see the Pac-12, I feel like Penix should win the Heisman, but people don't see football like I see it. Right? People stuck on Ohio State.
His odds are the best. Pickles is right. His odds are the best, but I'm not a Bo Nix guy. I
Bo
followed him
Nix,
since his Auburn days. But Oregon has a tendency to run it up here. Okay, let's go to this week there, brother. Okay, we're tied now.
Yeah.
Since Detroit came back on Chicago. You almost had me last week.
Yeah, man. I like that. I like that Chicago secondary, man. They're fast and quick, and they talking about Goff shaving
Justin
points.
Fields, golly, he blew that game last week though. Safety at the very end.
Yeah, man.
What was he thinking, Chief? Let's see. Okay, this week here, so we're dead even.
We got Michigan State or Ohio.
No, well, we'll do that in a minute, Chief.
Okay.
We'll do that towards the end here. That's going to be interesting, though. That I had to do a little bit of okay, Cleveland, Denver. Now these two teams are trending up. We just talked about them both. They both won last week, man.
I got Denver over Cleveland.
Cleveland, Denver. Denver's at home. Kareem Jackson, by the way, got suspended 4 games for headhunting. And that's a safety there for Denver. But Cleveland's lead corner, Denzel Ward, will be out of this game. Darrell Thompson-Robertson will be starting again. He looked pretty decent against the Steelers. Denver's only a 1.5 favorite. They still have a lot of respect, the league does, or Vegas does, for that Cleveland defense. I think Denver wins this. This is probably an under game, 16-9. I think Denver wins this game, keeps their winning streak and playoff chances alive. I think that will push them up to a 5-game winning streak, right?
No, I like them. I like Denver winning this game against Cleveland as well. I got them winning 21-10.
Okay, boy, they'll love that.
I think Judy's gonna come up and play good. They got that other wide receiver who plays very well.
I said Cincinnati, Pittsburgh because of what happened with Matt Canada, and Pittsburgh's still in this thing. Cincinnati mathematically is too. They got Jake Browning now at quarterback. But backup quarterbacks for Cincinnati have beat the Steelers in the past.
Yeah.
They have beat the Steelers in the past. That being Minka Fitzpatrick, he's out again for the Steelers. But Houston ran on Cincinnati pretty good a couple weeks ago, man. So I think this is not going to be a pretty game. But I like your guy Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. I like Warren better. I think 2017 Pittsburgh has the bounce back week because of Canada's fire. And what do you think? Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, a much bigger game than people. Because if they lose, people's going to start saying, Tomlin, maybe you're the pro. You know what I'm saying? But it's a very tight spread there, by the way.
What I'm looking at the spread right now.
Yeah, I thought I sent it to you. But
yeah, you sent it to me.
Yeah, it's a 1.5, man. It's in Cincinnati, too.
It's a 12 o'clock game?
Yeah. 1 Eastern. You're still a Central guy, ain't you?
Yeah.
I wish you would move back to Clarksville. We'll do some sports scope from some of these games, and I'll hook you up, man, money or something.
We coming to New York, I'll hook you up some games, man. We'll go to Knicks games.
God, yeah, and I'll have to live in a box or something.
You can live in my closet.
Live in your closet for $700 a month or $10,000.
It's gone up to $925, so I'll be nice.
Yeah.
Nah, man. I just don't feel like the Bengals have got it together. They're missing wide receiver core. They're missing the quarterback.
Yeah, they are missing Higgins too.
The defense is spotty. They're up and down. They're too inconsistent. Pittsburgh's kind of. I think that this is an evenly matched game actually because Pittsburgh's the same. Yeah. But I'm gonna give it one up. The Steelers. They got players and they got better players in places that will help them be more successful. Yeah, T.J. Watt, Najee Harris, and Warren at the back and running back. They got wide receivers. They got young guys, quick and fast. They got guys trying to make a name. Kenny Pickett's trying to pick his name up. He tries to do big, he's trying to do things. He's not that good yet, but I like his gun. He got gumption, and he's like a competitor, and he's probably played better than all three of the quarterbacks of the Jets this year. So, give him a little bit of credit.
That's true.
I think they'll come out of this game. It's going to be close, maybe 17-14 Steelers on a field goal.
That's probably right, man.
On a field goal. It's Norwood, right? Norwood's still kicking?
Yeah, I think so, Chief. I think so. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but New Orleans and Atlanta, that's a division lead. The winner will lead the division. And I was talking about that earlier. That is a heated rival. People don't realize. Heated rival. There's fights in the stands. There's fights in line. The two teams fight on. This will be both teams coming off bye weeks. Ritter's back for Atlanta. It's at Atlanta. Atlanta's off bye. Like I said, Saints off bye. Derek Carr back. But still, I think New Orleans a little bit more talented. Their lead corner's out though. Lattimore's out for New Orleans. This will be a very tight game. I think the Saints win it though. Last minute field goal, 20-19 Saints. That's how close I think it'll be, man. What do you think about Atlanta and the Saints?
Yeah, I think the same thing. Close game, heated rivalry.
Yeah,
it's going to be which defense outlasts the other. Because you got players on both ends. Atlanta's got a nice little running back.
Bijan, I like him.
Yeah, and they got Louisiana. The Saints, they have Olave who can be a game breaker. So it's a wash on offense, because they struggle to score points. So yeah, man, I like that. 21-14, New Orleans
Saints. Yeah, come marching in, Chief. The Saints. Okay, this is huge. People don't realize this other game's big too. Jacksonville, Houston.
Oh, I like that game.
Jacksonville's only a 1.5 favorite. Houston beat the crap out of them in Jacksonville just about 3 or 4 weeks ago. This is going to be a very tough game. Houston has some injuries at safety and linebacker. I believe Jacksonville will even this series up. Jacksonville coming off a big win.
They're going to win. They're going to win in Houston.
They're going to win in Houston 27-24. They win in Houston. I'm going against the red hot CJ Stroud. I may live to regret this, and you may be up again. But I like Jacksonville. Get the road win, and this will be a very highly contested game, just like Atlanta, New Orleans. Jacksonville gets the win on the road, Chief.
Listen, Houston fans, if you out there, this is your Super Bowl. This is the opportunity that you've been looking for. This is, the reason why you got the franchise there in Houston to re-up again and be called the Texans. This is your time to come out and celebrate. There shouldn't be one seat empty. This is your man. You better be by his side.
2 up-and-coming quarterbacks, too, right? Man,
this is your QB. This is your new QB.
This is Clemson, Ohio State.
I hope that this place is crowded and loud. I hope Houston proves everybody wrong that the franchise does still need to belong there.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars are going to be outnumbered by the 6th man.
So what's your score?
I'm with Stroud here. I'm gonna think it's gonna be 27-21.
Houston.
It's
gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be a good game.
I know you're gonna be texting me afterwards. You're gonna be spiking the ball, or you're gonna be coming up with excuses.
No, man. You know how it is. I'm not on the field, man, so I can't make any changes there. But this game should have been flexed. This should have been the 4:00 game.
That is true. That'll be a really good game. I got a good one coming up though. This one I struggled with, not being sarcastic.
I want to ask you this,
yeah,
and you tell me if I'm wrong. Has Jacksonville ever gone for a revenge game and actually came out on top?
That's hard to tell. Jacksonville plays well when you don't expect them to,
right?
And then they fold like a cheap suit when they're favored at home.
Wrinkled up.
Jacksonville, they'll beat a team like a Baltimore and then they'll lose to the Colts.
That's why I tell people, and they always like, well, they got a good coach. I don't like the coach. I think
you didn't like Peterson.
I think the coach is too passive aggressive, man, and I think that team is too young, too fast, too much potential to just be like, oh, we gonna just run the clock, time of possession. We're gonna just no, man, attack, kill these guys, man. You got speed at the wide receiver and Kirk. You can stretch the field out a little bit because you got a tight end that acts like a wide receiver. You got a running back. You got a guy that can, if he has problems, he can run the ball.
Noah Brown, Jimmy Ward's out. Jake Hanson's out for Houston. Noah Brown's out. But they'll, CJ Stroud will find somebody. It'll probably be Tank Dell.
I just don't think Jacksonville has that edge that other teams have to be like, you know what, they beat us last time, we don't come back and this is a revenge game. They're not like that, man. You are like your coaches, and their coach is passive aggressive, and I don't think that's a good fit for Jacksonville. But people are okay with that. They say he's a good coach. I mean, the Eagles got rid of him for a reason, and now they're about to go to another Super Bowl. And I don't even like the new coach they have. Yeah,
that's a good transition. Now, Buffalo. This is only a 3-point game for Philadelphia. Philly played on Monday. It's a short week. Philly, by the way, Philadelphia will play the 49ers next week. This is a huge sandwich game for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I think right after this game, they're going to be so spent that the 49ers might get them in this next game.
The 49ers just played Thursday, and they look great last night against Seattle.
Yeah.
Buffalo, it's playing at Philly. The only reason I'm picking Philly in this game is because Philly had a bye last week.
Right.
And I tell you what, A.J. Brown, 1 catch, 8 yards. He's wanting to get back and play hard against Buffalo. I don't think weather's going to be a problem.
No.
27-20, Eagles win. But it's going to be worth watching because the Eagles are on a short week. Buffalo had a really good game against Philly or against the Jets. I think Buffalo will give them some pushback. 27-20, though, I think the Eagles pull it off at the very end and get the win. What do you think, man?
Eagles at home, 32-14.
Yeah, the Eagles at home. So you're like me.
Yeah.
Maybe if in Buffalo, I might go other way, but I don't know, man. Eagles are still somewhat fresh.
The Bills still trying to figure out the running game. The Bills still trying to figure out this.
They got such a good defensive line, Philly,
Yeah, Philly's well balanced. I have a feeling that even Jalen Hurts is going to run all over that defense that's got holes in it. Because Oliver Miller is going to attack. Oliver's going to attack. Von Miller's not doing well.
Ed Oliver and Von Miller, yeah.
Yeah, he's,
Now that what you just said, that could happen. I don't want this to happen,
right.
But he could, that tush push crap, he could get hurt. And then they're going against, what's the guy's name? Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Then it's a game. I don't think that's going to, I hope not, because I'm tired of looking at these backup quarterbacks.
I just think that they're at home too, so
this is a 3:30, 4:30 Eastern game, by the way.
They got hot water there, so they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool, man. All right, man, here we go. Biggest game on Saturday. You hyped up? Michigan, Ohio State.
I don't like the division, man. I don't like that conference.
12 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. Just when I get back from the grocery store, it's going to be Ohio State, Michigan, dude. They're 3.5-point favorites. Michigan at home. No Jim Harbaugh. The players that were banged up for Michigan, from what I read, they all will play. There's some injuries on the Ohio State defense. Ohio State's had some good road wins. I really like what they did against Notre Dame, though.
This ain't Notre Dame.
No Jim Harbaugh, but I still like Michigan to win and cover that 3.5. 27-20, Michigan still. Ohio State keeps it much closer than people think. 27-20, Michigan gets the W, man, and they're primed for a playoff run. I think they'll have that big 10 championship. It'll be against a nobody, though.
I know.
Wisconsin or somebody. I don't know who it is. Do you like Ohio State in this game?
No. Not at all. I just think that Michigan has a better team on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State, they struggle on offense until they have to use Harrison Jr. It's because, they keep it way too.
Yeah. Now, he'll get his. Yeah. Harrison Jr. will get his. He'll have some big plays.
They play bad so that they can bring him out and have him do things, So.
Pickles is going the other way. 27-20 Ohio State.
I like that point, Pickles. I like that point, but I'm doing Michigan State 27, Ohio State 24.
I'm doing 27 or 20. Michigan wins and covers. Pickles likes the Bills by 2. That could happen. Pickles.
You think the Bills will upset the Eagles at home?
Crazier things have happened. They're on the short week, man. It's a sandwich game.
No coordinator. Who's their coordinator? Who's the offensive coordinator now?
I forgot the guy. Some quarterback coach for Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo will have to. Allen will have to be flawless to beat these guys.
That defense.
And Stephon Diggs, he's going to have a huge game, man.
Not
huge
just that, but that defense would have to be able to stop Devontae Smith, stop Swift, stop Brown, stop Hurts. That defense can only stop maybe 1 or 2 players, but they ain't gonna be able to stop everybody. So
only way I see it really that what you're saying is true, and maybe like the Jets game, that Eagles players get hurt during the game. Lane Johnson goes out. Hurts gets banged up.
Just putting out the voodoo dolls on these guys.
Which I don't want that to happen. I ain't trying to tick off your Jamies.
Trying to stab these voodoo dolls in the kneecaps.
Right.
No,
man, we got a little extra time. Let me ask you something. What if Tennessee loses to Carolina tomorrow or Sunday in the NFL? Do you think Vrabel could be in trouble? There's been some people around town are starting to talk about it with me.
Well, here's my question: do you want Vrabel? Do you think most of the people in Tennessee want Vrabel to stay?
I think they're starting to wanting Vrabel to move on. This one friend of mine said he thinks they should move off Vrabel because of his lack of creativity. He does not hire outside of the organization to replace offensive coordinators.
Right.
I'm still like Vrabel. I think they just got to fix the line. Yeah. They got to fix the offensive line. They have to go all in on the offensive line.
I'm in this frame of thought. If you can't get the team better in what you were doing bad the year before, the season before, if you can't figure that out, then you can't be a coach. You can't be head coach because that's your job.
You think they should move on from Vrabel if they lose to Carolina?
I think this, and not because I don't like Vrabel, but he needs to learn that he has to change his ways.
Yes, I agree with that.
And the only way to do that is to fire him. And if you don't fire him, he's going to keep getting these OCs that don't work. He's going to keep making moves that won't fit what his plan is. His plan is that his offense is not working, right?
Yeah.
So in his defense, he can always get working and revved up one way or another. And they brought in players. They brought in Julio Jones to try to get the offense going. They brought in
DeAndre Hopkins.
Big
money to Hopkins.
So like your biggest issue is that you guys signed this quarterback who was not even serviceable in Tannehill. So, that was your biggest mistake. And if you're Tennessee, you're the ownership, are you going to give him that extra opportunity with Tannehill not at the helm?
Yeah.
I
would give him one more year because they got a lot of money next year on the cap, man.
Right. If so, then how about this? How about you? I don't like their GM situation. How about you give Vrabel that GM job and tell him to find a coach?
Wow. Like John Lynch with the 49ers?
Yeah. Because he's not bad at what he does on defense, and you got to have always a defense to make sure that to win the games at the end of the game. So, and if not, just move on from Tennessee. Like, it's okay. Not everybody's meant to be like in Pittsburgh forever, or like one of those teams that hold on to coaches forever.
Right. Diana Rossini from the Athletics, used to be with ESPN. She
Yeah.
said that they're going to stick with Vrabel. Part of me, I would like to just tell Amy Adams, just give him one more year, and I'd like to see him just play their backups the rest of the year and get that left tackle from Penn State that's out there and take that $100 million and go out and build that lineup, get the best possible line you can get, and then go out and get a fresh, clean slate next year. Everybody's rebuilding in the whole division, man. Think about it. They've all got new quarterbacks in the AFC.
NFC South been rebuilding since 1999. We've been watching them rebuilding, bro. Come on, man. That's just like that's nothing new, Yeah. If you're Vrabel,
I think it's really 50-50 that maybe Amy Adams moves on from Vrabel this year.
How about this, Robert?
Contrary of what the reports say.
If you say this, you're Adams and you talk to Vrabel and say you're staying, who's your offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Tell me that. Who you gonna get for offensive coordinator?
And that would be. Oh, you talking about me or Vrabel?
Yeah, you.
Well, I would probably keep the same guys.
Why?
I know that
that's your problem. That's why you should get fired.
Andre Dillard's been out for a while. They've got a new left tackle. They tried to cut corners on bringing in offensive linemen. I would have rather got Orlando Brown than DeAndre Hopkins.
They got rid of one, and he went to Buffalo, and he ain't doing nothing for them.
Well, he was 33, though.
But look,
they got rid of Jack Conklin. He went to Cleveland, had a great 3 or 4 years there. Now, he's hurt this year.
Who you hiring?
Well, I mean, the truth be told, here's an argument to let him go. The truth be told, more offensive linemen teams with the better offensive line, they spend the money and they have an offensive-minded head coach. Look how smooth O'Donnell is running. I think that's his name. The head coach for Minnesota. Look how smooth they look on offense. Yeah, look how smooth Miami looked today on offense.
The defense is lagging, and it's forcing Minnesota to play harder on offense. Yeah.
But Flores has made big jumps. Kudos to him. But
how about this? I guess the biggest fault right now that Minnesota has is that their best offensive weapon is on injured reserve.
He should be traded. They've won 4 out of 5 without him, or 5 out of 6 without him. I would move him and get defense. Tennessee needs a true left tackle. The guy from Penn State is the highest rated guy out there. The starting left tackle from Penn State.
Who's putting these plays together? Who's your offensive coordinator?
I mean, if I had to go out and get another one, I might try to get. I mentioned Jimbo Fisher last week.
My man is stuck on Jimbo. That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad.
He runs a pro style system.
Yeah, that's not a bad pickup.
Somebody like Jimbo. I would like to get Lincoln Riley if you could buy him out of USC. Don't want him. He's already Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams will go to the NFL now. They're getting their butts kicked out there. UCLA beat them last week.
UCLA coach about to lose his job.
Well, they beat USC, though. I think Chip Kelly will get another year because of that. I
don't think so. I don't think he want to be there either.
Well,
hey, how about this? You say you get your guy.
I would love to get one of those guys. If I had to hire a coach, maybe get the offensive coordinator from Houston, Billy Swolick, but he's really young. He's like 37, 38.
We don't have to worry about their age because the Titans had never had anybody like they've never been offensive quarter-wise. They haven't ever been like situated. They never had one for more than 2 seasons, which is why the situation Mariota didn't work out, and which is the same thing that happened to Tannehill. And I'm not trying to protect these guys. I think, talent-wise, one peaked more than the other. But so now this is happening. Do you want Levis to go through this? It's my question to you.
Well, you got to give Levis one more year. He showed some promise there.
Promise to lose you the game.
Well, I think this. Give him another year. Give them the full year with a good offensive line there, a much improved. Give them a full off season. Clear out some things and go at it that way. But if they fire Vrabel and go offensive, go for Ben Johnson with Detroit, I'm not going to lose any sleep there because I see the way the league's going. Everybody that's winning the Super Bowl last 5 years has been offensive-minded head coach.
You keep saying that, but the reality is that even though that's the last 5 years, your game will always end up and defense wins the game at the end of the day.
Well, here's my thing. Have an offensive-minded head coach and spend money on a good defensive coordinator like Kansas City did,
What Kansas City did was they got rid of all their high-profile offensive weapons, and they built the defense with a bunch of picks.
Yes.
So now their defense is young, fast, and they have depth. In other words, the older players that are on the defense, if they go down, the younger players are right.
Their corners are playing great at Kansas City. Holding A.J. Brown to one catch. I think what's that guy's name? Sneed?
Mm-hmm.
That cornerback. He played great. You can go young on defense other than maybe tackle. They got Chris Jones at tackle.
Yep.
Offensive-minded head coach. Spend money on an older defensive coordinator that knows what he's doing, and that's probably the future right now. Like if we got Billy Slowick from whatever his name is, the offensive coordinator from Houston as a head coach,
right.
Go out and get a 55-year-old defensive coordinator, somebody like that, somebody that knows, or somebody that's a hot commodity defensive coordinator and overpay him. And I'll be much better than going that way other than the defensive-minded head coach and a good offensive coordinator, because the defensive-minded head coach, he's going to have arguments say, I want to bid this safety all this money, like Tomlin, for example.
How about
or
this?
Vrabel.
Yeah, how about this? You go out and you get the Detroit offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, yeah.
And you bring in Ken Norton Jr.
There you go.
Coordinator.
He's good. And
Ken
guess
Norton
what?
Jr.'s
good.
And guess what? Who has ties to Ken Norton Jr.?
Vrabel?
No, keep going.
Oh, Johnson? I don't know.
The GM, who was at
Carton Ford. Well, yeah. Carton has ties there, and Carton has ties with Billy Slowick because those guys come from the 49ers. We just solved their problems right now. So, Vrabel, we appreciate everything you've done. How about this? Vrabel goes and takes Ohio State job after Michigan wins tomorrow.
There we go. Full circle, bro. Full circle.
We got, and now this put me and you on a $100 million year contract for a sports show. We solved all the world's problems now.
We fixed it, bro. We fixed it.
So Vrabel goes back to Ohio State.
I will not lie. I would love to see Vrabel at Ohio State, and I would actually watch those games. Right now, I barely.
Can you see Vrabel and Harbaugh like looking each other down, like, "Hey man."
Like why it is? Because people will run through a wall for Vrabel, man. Mm-hmm. He's that kind of person, and these older guys, money talks, and they pull. You get contracts, and you get all.
Man, I love of the balls to hire Vrabel. I love Vrabel, but he might be better for the college game.
Yeah,
he would love to go to Ohio State, man. And they may fire Ron Day after he loses 3 straight to Michigan.
Ooh, I like that, man.
Yeah.
You like Ken Norton Jr.? I think he should have been a head coach.
I've watched Ken Norton Jr. since he was a player in the 90s with the 49ers.
Yeah,
My dad used to watch his dad. His dad fought Ali.
Yeah, man. Boxing.
Beat Ali. Robert Carlos, GMs of the Titans. Hey man, I'm going the Eagles route. I'm gonna get the best offensive line money can buy.
Like my thing is this is like, to be a champion, you have to have not only the heart of a champion, but the mind of a champion. And not that Vrabel's not a champion, but that I think he's lost in his glory. Like, I think he thinks that if he makes the decision to do something, it's okay. But it's not okay to have your offense not on the same pumping and being as wild as your defense, right? So, because he's like, if my defense can take over the game, I'll be okay. My offense just got to score points. And you being a coach,
he's coaching us the way the teams he played on with the Patriots back in
2003,
right?
There you go. And you don't have a Tom Brady
as a wide receiver and catch or a tight end and catch goal line touchdown.
And he doesn't have a Tom Brady on his team, so that's another thing. That can get you lost in anything that you do as a head coach, right? Because you sometimes forget that the player that you play with was a decent quarterback, right? So
yeah. Okay, Ben Johnson for the Titans. Okay, I'll start that campaign. No, Ken Norton Jr., the defensive coordinator, and everything will be everything.
Or, I wouldn't even mind seeing Trent Dilfer as a head coach and Ken Norton Jr. as a defensive coordinator.
That's the coach at UAB. He used to be a quarterback. He beat the Titans with the Ravens back in 2001. Broke my heart. That really ticked me off. But I forgave him. He's lived here before and coached high school football too.
He's coaching at the Lipscomb High School.
Yes. And then now he's coached at UAB in college. And I think he'd be pretty good, because he's a former quarterback.
He'll be here in a few years, I think. I think he likes Nashville.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. I'll are you serious at 9 Eastern Fridays, right?
Fridays, yeah. We might
Eastern.
We might miss a few shows coming up due to some PTO time that we got to take care of and some holidays. But Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Keith?
We'll announce what days we'll be on live and stuff, and if not, we'll have something good for everybody to watch. I'm on here with you Friday nights at 8.
Yay!
Keeping it real,
like Ice Cube would say.
Yay!
All right, man. Thanks, Carlos. Good stuff there.
Hey, man, good. We brought it full circle,
good night,
man.
Everybody. Brought the heat at the end, didn't we?
Yeah, man. Happy Black Friday.